Now, guys, we're going to go from Pat's subject into a thing that I affectionately call wow factor marketing. I don't know whether you've heard of that before, but it's quite an interesting subject. And we'll kick off. Oh, what a great logo. Yeah. Deliver to learn the unexpected. And that's what it really is all about. It's about delivering the unexpected. And I think perhaps for a lot of you who didn't see or haven't seen Pat before, that was pretty unexpected this morning, wasn't it? Yeah. Dave and Harry, I mean, have you seen him before? That was unexpected, wasn't it? I mean, the fact that you guys have turned up after I saw you in the street falling over last night, that's unexpected too, so that's nice. Anyway, okay, now Carly, who is just like, I don't know, a warrior, she said, don't dare start your little spiel without telling everyone how to get to Fellini's. And I said, yeah, not a problem. I don't have a clue. What, so you're going to be the Pied Pipers, are you? Yeah, and what, they'll follow you, and I've been doing that for a lot of years and I've got nowhere. So I don't know how that's going to go, but anyway, good luck. Yeah, it's a mindset, and what was Pat? It's the mindset, and it's the nipples, and then it's something else. I don't know. Now, this session today is all about basically how to well your communications and never be mediocre. You would have noticed that yesterday I talked about not being mediocre. And well, I'll do a pat here. I'll get you to put your hands up a few times. Who would like to be mediocre? Where's Rob Lavelle? Where is Rob? Is Rob in the room? Oh, there you go. Well, why did you put your hand up? You are mediocre. Oh, and Greg? Greg's mediocre? Yeah. You hang together. That's good. Terrific. Yeah. You had some people that possibly weren't here yesterday afternoon are going, oh, he's so cruel to those people. Look, you know, Greg's going, no, he's got no feelings. Yeah. Essentially, so we'll come back to him, how to create your own press ads in your radio and your TV and so forth, because what we want this to be is a teaching session, a learning session, and you guys know that I'm reasonably handy in terms of doing layouts and putting copy together, but what I want to do is empower you guys as much as I can to know how to do that. Now, you know, will you become a copywriter? Probably not, because you're too busy running your own business. But at least if you are in a spot and you want to put an ad in the paper tomorrow, and you know the basics of how to write a good headline, and you know the basics of how the ad should look, then at least you can get yourself out of trouble. And if you know what is a headline that's going to pull versus one that's not, you'll get yourself out of trouble. And that's what this is all about. And when I say headlines, I'm not talking just press, because we think with headlines we're talking about direct mail or we're talking about press, anything to do with print. But headlines work for TV commercials and they work for radio as well. Okay, so therefore, you know, and Leah, where's Leah? Is Leah in the room? Yeah, Leah, who I mistook Leah for the guys from Pritchard's wife, didn't I, Leah? Yeah. Although I did see you coming out of the area where they were this morning. I don't want to sort of take it. But Leah is involved in a pest control company and others in Newcastle, and yesterday you guys would have heard me talk about the radio commercial that we've put together, where there's a woman with a blood-curdling scream yelling out that she sees cockroaches in her kitchen and in her bathroom, and that's how the ad starts. So if you're actually driving down the road and you hear this blood-curdling scream, something like out of a Psycho movie, cockroaches, then there's a good chance that you will listen to that ad. Whereas the more traditional radio ad that you'll hear from most pest control companies, indeed most companies, because they let the radio station creative team put it together, most of which are in the early 20s and still using Proactive, they will say, have you got cockroaches in your home? Well, ring Rebel Pest Control. And you know and I know what result that's going to get. So we'll show you this afternoon, this morning, whatever we are, how to put those sorts of things together as well. Now, I'm just going to flick through these because there were a few people that weren't here yesterday, but just to set the tone for wow factor thinking, this has not a lot to do with press or radio, but what it has to do with is communication. So it doesn't matter what game you're in, whether it's your van or whether it's your PR or whether it's your press or whether it's your letterbox brochures, it's all about communications. Now that guy's clever, okay? I think he could do some more direct selling on his truck, but still he would get attention. Again, we went through that yesterday. You can imagine, see, well, I was going to put a bit of a wow on today, and we decided not to do it because the helium balloon thing wasn't working, but we got, I saw it on YouTube a little while ago, giant, you guys might have seen it, they're called what are they called, Carly? Can you remember the name of it? Inflatable sharks, anyway, that's what they are, fish. And you get a little remote control, and the shark's tail wags, you put helium inside it, great for kids' parties, but it would be fantastic for SeaWorld if they were out doing an expo somewhere, and this shark just swims around the room. And we're going to do it and have it come through the corridor and just have a bit of fun with it, but unfortunately I think it's made by IKEA, and you've got to make this damn thing up. So when we were talking about it in the break, and someone said, oh, it takes about 30 minutes to set up, so forget it, and throw the Allen key back at them, for God's sake. I want to catch that rat that came up with IKEA.
John, we can actually just bring the shark in and get someone to run around with it.
Eh?
You can bring the shark in and have someone run around with it.
Yeah, just stick with the paperwork. Just stick with the paperwork and stuff, don't so anyway, so this is the back of a bus, yeah, which is very clever, yeah. This one was bad, and I said this is how it should have been done, so therefore, that's a pest control operator, and it looks like a dry cleaner. I mean, it's just silly. That's what it should look like. Pepsi Cola, that's a truck going down the freeway, and that's just all, artwork. Very, very clever. This one is great. Hot and spicy, isn't that good? It isn't that good. Do I have to do this, Pat Mesiti? Okay, he's getting there. That's not too bad. He's probably got a little way to go to make sure that he puts a unique call to action on there, but at least you know who he is and what he's doing. This is getting there. It's not too bad at all. It tells you what the pizza shop's all about. This guy is one of our clients, and I mentioned to you guys yesterday, Tile Rescue. He comes in and cleans your bathroom tiles, and that's what his local signage company put together for his van. That was the back of it, and then we tricked it up like that. So a big, big difference. And of course, when you are cleaning tiles, as you heard me say yesterday, it's all about before and after, or what we call in the advertising game, shit to gold. And that's what we've done. We've shown shit to gold there. So he's got an ugly bathroom. If you've pulled up at a set of traffic lights next to this guy, I think there's every chance that you would probably take notice of that, because he tells it nice and simple. I clean tiles and I clean them fast. Whereas if you pulled up next to that, I don't think you would be getting a pen out and taking his phone number down or putting it into your iPhone. Yeah, before and after. Now, remember, everything you do needs to have that. And I showed this to you yesterday, escalators. What a lot of fun that would be in whatever shopping centre that's in. Wouldn't it be funny if your children did disappear through his mouth? That would be good. That would be even better, yeah. That, of course, we looked at that yesterday. Why wouldn't you want to go there? That's wow. And as I said, that's our dining room at home, so you probably, want to go there. Motel room, very clever. And I think that's one of the best signs I've seen for an outdoor sign. Now, McDonald's are only a kilometre down the road or half a kilometre down the road, so if you're feeling like a coffee, I think you might think about calling in there. And of course, that one was very clever. And this was, I thought, was good too from IKEA. I've just bagged them out. But that would get your attention, wouldn't it? Yeah. Was it, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Chris said, was that next to the other sign, this one here? Yeah. I'll tell you what, if you needed that medicine, you wouldn't be having any stools. I don't think so, no. Geez, we get onto subjects, don't we? Yes, yeah. That, I think, is McDonald's that's just classic. I mean, they do it very, very well. They don't say much, but they just say, look, we're down the road. Now, this happens to be a music store. How good is that shop front? Very clever, isn't it? Very clever. There's no way to get into the shop, but I mean, it's a very clever shop front. I believe there's little people shop there. Yeah, to be sure. Now, I've played this to a few people before, but I want to play it to those that haven't seen it. Our 14-year-old, our youngest, decided to con us into buying him an $1,800 Apple Mac. And so we took him to the Robina Apple store, and the policy is that if you're a Virgin customer, you never bought anything from Apple before, the whole 50 staff in the place, because that's what they've got, 50 staff, they stop and give you a standing ovation. And so I said to my little guy, the 14-year-old Shane, look, I'm going to film this, of course, because everything, when you're on this seminar circuit, you're thinking content all the time. And you'll see Shane is not very happy about this, but nonetheless, this is what happened at an Apple store. Now think about how you can do this for your business. I've said a number of times, imagine if you did that at your butcher shop. Can you imagine every time someone bought a pound of sausages, wouldn't that freak everyone out? But that is wow factor, and that's what you've got to do for your business. Now, this is a recent wow factor that I shared 1 or two of those little videos with you guys last night, but one of my clients is Wayne Bergen, who owns a business called Cashflow Manager. And that's Wayne there on the left, and Jamoran, of course, and Wayne's going to pop up in a second and just give us a little rundown on this. We're going to do a Ray Martin interview. You might recall, those of you that were there yesterday afternoon, I said, now here's a business that's in a pretty conservative industry. It's an accountancy business. They sell a product which is like the best way to put it, Wayne's going to kill me for saying this, but it's like an MYOB product. It's called Cashflow Manager, but it is so much better than MYOB, isn't it, Wayne? Yeah. And has a better name, Cashflow Manager. He's an entrepreneurial thinker, and you don't get that in the accountancy business very often. I mean, with all due respect to accountants, you don't see a lot of, entrepreneurial accountants, and Wayne keeps on learning from going to, events like this. And when we were talking about distinguishing his business from other accountancy businesses, I said to him, why don't you take a leaf out of the Seinfeld book that we did for the Grader, because the Grader is a bank, and that's a pretty boring business too. And so therefore we brainstormed it, and this is what happened. Before Wayne comes up, I'll play the ad and then get Wayne to come up. We have about 3 other ads on here that I want you to see. So those of you that were with me yesterday afternoon, you saw this, but it's funny. Let's see it again.
Hello, I'm asked to tell you about Cashflow Manager. It's a software program. I don't know much about it, but I'm a trustworthy, likable guy. The guy who thought the program up, it's kind of boring and accountant. You should work with the tax department, don't like saying. But it goes well about it, just get home. What is Cashflow Manager?
Well, Cashflow Manager is a very easy bookkeeping program for small business owners, so they can keep great records even when they know nothing about accounting.
Right, I'll go. Cashflow Manager, they have simplest bookkeeping program on the planet.
Now, Wayne, can you pop up and just before Wayne steps up on stage, by the way, can you put your hands together for Wayne Bergen? Let me play you another one before Wayne gives us some insight into what the campaign's all about.
If you've got a small business and you find bookkeeping boring, get Cashflow Manager. Takes care of all your bookkeeping and sorts the whole thing out, even cash jobs, because they come up from time to time. No, I'm joking. Maybe they do for some people, but I just like to say this for the tax part, I've never taken cash out personally. Except for this job. Cashflow Manager.
I'll do 2 more, Wayne, because it's better to actually ask you the questions if we play these are all web videos, so these will be on his website. Can you imagine how different from any other accountancy practice this will be?
Let's face it, bookkeeping is very boring. In fact, the only exciting thing about bookkeeping is it's the only word in the English language, bookkeeping. There's got 2 O's, 2 K's, and 2 A's. 5 times now. Cashflow Manager. It's a software program, takes care of all your bookkeeping, and you can forget about the O's, and the K's, and the E's.
Okay, now we have about 30 of these, but I'll play you one more, okay? By the way, we have Jamoran pointing and doing all sorts of things around the website so that we can drop things in. It's a green screen shoot, which means Wayne can put any background in he wants when we're editing it. So this next one is very, very funny.
Hello. If you've got a small business and you find bookkeeping boring, why not get yourself Cashflow Manager? On the planet. It's a software program takes care of all your Cashflow Manager. Simplest bookkeeping solution on the planet. Cashflow Manager is you've got fires.
Okay, Wayne, can we ask you a few questions? We haven't launched this yet. Wayne hasn't launched it. He's in the process of loading it up on his website and doing stuff now. What prompted you to do something different with a bit of wow? Why are you doing this? I mean, did you accept that the industry is rather conservative?
Well, yeah, you told me to.
Yeah, right on cue. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, well, as he says, what's exciting about bookkeeping and accounting, we're sort of the minnow in the market. Our competitors are all publicly listed companies. So how do we make a point of difference on a subject that's very conservative in the first place? Well, we need to get people to take a look at us and see that bookkeeping can be fun. Our whole message is simplicity. It can be simple. We are nothing like Mail. We are for the people who can't use Mail. So what we're trying to get across is that, hey, bookkeeping can be simple and it can be fun and you can do it yourself without having to tear your hair out. So we just think this will add a bit of humour to it, to be able to differentiate us a bit.
It's a little bit like the dance that the girl wears the bright red dress, isn't it? It's something to make you stand out. And so long as it's all done in good taste, and it is. I mean, the beautiful thing about picking people like a Seinfeld or like a Jamoan is that they are clean comedians. They're not like a Chris Rock in America or an Eddie Murphy, where they do come with some baggage because they've used some language over time. These guys, that's good family-friendly humour. Tell me, have you had some comments from others within your business or within the industry that go, oh, that's scary, you shouldn't be doing that?
Yeah, well, I'm also in a mentoring group called TEC, which is the Executive Connection, or CEOs of medium-sized companies that get together. And I actually had a conference with them on Thursday down in Adelaide, and they were going, oh, I don't think that one's very good because that could destroy your brand, or, you know, we got the nod on 3 out of 6, I think, that, and I've been warned, oh, test this because it's going to affect your brand. And the one on the cash jobs, for example, no, don't play that one because, you know, that could be damaging to your brand and so on.
Let's just do a survey here, because you weren't here yesterday, Wayne. Wayne came in about 7 o'clock last night out of Brisbane, but Rob and Nathan were talking about research, and whilst there's no question that I certainly would subscribe to researching these things, and you can do that very easily. But Rob, what's your thoughts? What's your gut feel? And something, I mean, you were involved with the Greater Building Society's Jerry thing. It's all clean humour. He's brought a massive amount of traffic, because Rob was involved in a lot of the research for that. He's brought a massive amount of attention, I should say, to a brand that was somewhat invisible in lots of Australia. Do you see something like this risky, or do you see it innovative?
Oh, innovative. Definitely innovative.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's too much risk in it at all. I mean, it's obviously a good process to go through to vet everything, because some of the stuff that you do come up with is a bit risky. But from what I've seen there, I don't think there's any much risk in that at all.
Yeah. And what I wanted to say to everybody here is that think about this for your own business. I'm not saying that you need to go out and get a personality, but just think of something that's going to make you the purple cow in your business. Who has read Seth Godin's book, The Purple Cow? A lot of people? Yeah. He's basically an American that subscribes to my wow factor philosophy, and his one is Purple Cow. He just says, imagine if you're driving on a country road and you look at all the cattle and one was purple, wouldn't it stand out? And that's what this is all about for Wayne, as far as I'm concerned. It's a purple cow. Now, in his industry, I'd challenge anybody here at the moment to tell me, well, how do you distinguish Wayne's business from some big multinational competitors without doing something that's outside the square? Anybody got any ideas that how do you make an accountant stand out? And I think that was the challenge, wasn't it, Wayne?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And tell me, in terms of Jamoan, it's a 3-year deal that you've got. In terms of your printed collateral, could you just explain that how you intend using that? Is it going to be like a holistic campaign where he'll be on pretty much everything?
The way we see using him is to do traffic generation. So we've done a number of things in the past and tried things. Some have worked, some have failed. We think that with a message of simplicity, using someone like Jamoan with our lead generation and so on will be good. So
lead generation means that you could use him on a Facebook ad, or maybe Google AdWords doesn't have photos at the moment, but you can certainly use him on a Facebook ad, his image, to bring traffic to your website.
Yeah, but offline as well. Offline is very important. So postcards and brochures, and over 50% of our revenue actually comes from people who subscribe for ongoing support plans. So getting the conversion rates happening with those sort of things are very important. So we plan to test a number of different things to see how that goes for us.
So I guess you're saying if your prospects received a direct mail letter from Jamoan, or seemingly from Jamoan because he's over it, there's a better chance of that being looked at than if it was just a letter from the company.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we've done at the Greater. We've been a bit cheeky with Jerry, and the correspondence has gone out, looks like, for all intents and purposes, that it's a letter from Jerry Seinfeld. Now, that makes it a hell of a lot more compelling to read that letter than if it was just from the Building Society. And Karen and Ken are in the events business here in the front seat, and they run events like this, much bigger than this, but they run events that thousands of people come to. And I was just talking, with them recently, and I just said, well, imagine if the direct mail letter came from, and it's not as easy as I'm the ideas person, I don't understand a lot of the logistics because it's not that easy, but if they did have Richard Branson out, and they could get permission from him, wouldn't it be so much more compelling if Richard Branson sent you that email to come and see him at Sydney Entertainment Centre? I know that's not easy, but all I'm saying is that if you do have the opportunity of using a personality like this at the right price, then just don't label slap them on your box. And that's the thing that's good about Wayne. He doesn't intend to just label slap this on his website. He's going to put it throughout his website. So every page that you go onto the website, you will have a new video of Jamone. And we'll keep that fresh over time, won't we? Because we've got about 30 or 40 of them.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. And tell me, did you enjoy working with Jamone, and did you think, and myself, and who did you think was the funniest?
I thought Jamone was the funniest by far.
Right. Well, thanks, Wayne, anyway.
I'd like to say that JD's help's been invaluable. I'd like to say that.
But you can't. Thanks, mate.
Actually, in all seriousness, JD's help has been invaluable. He came up with the concept. We worked through the things. I spend, Pat was talking about how much money do you spend on yourself. Well, I would spend over 30 grand a year. And JD has been, I would say, the best value for money as far as I'm concerned, and really helped me implement all this.
Thank you.
Honestly, I'd like to say that, and I will say that because it is the truth.
Thanks, mate. Thank you, Wayne. Great. Thank you. And if you can see Carly or Gail, they'll give you that $100, mate. Thank you very much. So, cash for comment. Thanks, Wayne. I just thought it was worth getting Wayne up here because, you see, the thing is that and I'm not picking on Karen and Ken because this is actually a compliment to them. You would expect someone that's in the motivational seminar entertainment business, and Karen and Ken have been in it for quite a while. They've got thousands and thousands of people to come to the Sydney Entertainment Centre and these big stadiums, and they've dealt with some very big names. You would expect them to think outside the square like that because that's the game they're in. They're in the entertainment or edutainment business. But in Wayne's business, in the accountancy business, you wouldn't expect that, would you? You just wouldn't. And that's what's so great about this campaign. You've got someone who thinks outside the square, who's in a relatively conservative industry. Speaking of which, real estate. I gave these guys a rap yesterday, Chris and Kerry. Gail, does that mean I've gone 45 or I've got 40? 45. I've done 45. I've got 45. And then we do the workshop. Yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, okay. If you could just be a little bit, could you give that job to someone else, maybe? No, but I gave Chris and Kerry a rap yesterday because the name of their business is Unreal Estate. It tells you straight away that they're not like any real estate agent. And the thing that really intrigues me about real estate, of course, is that, and I've mentioned this before, is that they sell ghost houses. I was at a real estate convention late last year, and I was speaking to 200 real estate agents, and I just asked them, why do you sell ghost houses? Because I've never seen a real estate photo with people in it. And yet if you go and have a look at Harvey Norman, or you look at any of the furniture retailers or people that are selling swimming pools, they know that people react to people who look like them, so they put people who look like them in their ads. And you'll see Harvey Norman having, the husband and wife and the kids watching the plasma screen sitting on the lounge. But if you look at a real estate agent's window, or you look at any of their websites, I would challenge you to ever see a person in that house. So they've got empty bedrooms, and they've got empty kitchens, empty swimming pools, empty tennis courts. It's madness. So like if I am selling a product and I know that the target audience are baby boomers, then I'll put baby boomers in the advertisement because baby boomers are attracted to people who look like them. And why real estate agents don't do that, I'll never know. Why they don't put people sitting around in the lounge room or cooking in the kitchen that look like the demographic that they're after, I don't know. I mean, Gail and I, we live on acreage on the base of the Tamborine Mountains, and we've only got 3 of our 6 kids that are left at home now. 3 of them are left home, and we've got 3 teenagers still at home. But when they move on, which won't be too many years down the track, well, we're not going to need this big house. It's 3-acre property and it's a reasonable sized house. So I know when I'm going to sell that, I'm going to sell it to someone who has a bunch of kids. So what do you think I'll do when it comes to taking the photos of that house? I will show lots of kids playing on the tennis court and kicking the football outside and, you know, mucking around inside. That's what you do. You actually target the people who you're looking for, and the real estate game is just tragic in that regard. And that's why I take my hat off to Chris and Kerry, because they do things different, and the name of their business tells you as a prospect lister that they do things different, because they call themselves Unreal Estate. As I said yesterday, whatever your business is in, try and be You don't necessarily have to call yourself Woolworths, but try and be you know. Okay, website design. Make sure all the good stuff is before the fold. Now, who knows that already? Who knows that you've got to have the good stuff before the fold? Most of us. Okay, now Greg Castle will be on talking about a little bit more about this afternoon. You will be, won't you, Greg?
Yeah, I'll be.
Yeah, okay, just to make sure you wake up there a little bit. Just can hear you pumping out some Zs down the back there. So what I'm talking about here is that this happens to be David Trelaw, who's in the room. David, where are you? Yeah. When we looked at working together with Greg to put a website together for David, the whole idea, of course, is to capture data. So therefore, you know, make sure that if you're going to give away a free report, which you should, or you're going to have a $250,000 giveaway like David did, the whole idea is to capture their name and address before the fold. So this is, let's say, for argument's sake, before the fold. The whole idea is you want to make sure, because that's the front page of the Woman's Day magazine, you want to make sure all the good stuff is before the fold. So when Greg gets involved in looking at my layout and we put the copy and so forth together, when he's doing the artwork for that, he'll make sure that all the important stuff, the photos of the camper trailers, the data capture facility, is all before that fold. And there are some seasoned veterans in the room that would know this already, but you've got to have a data capture facility. Is there anyone in the room that currently, I mean, Matt Wood, of course, he's an expert at it, but how many people have got some sort of free report, or you give something away to capture data on their website? Oh, well, that's great. That's terrific. Okay. Make sure you do that, because otherwise you have people coming in and going out and you don't know who visited your site. So you can see that rough layout, Greg takes it and puts it into that. This happens to be a diet company, and again, you know, a free report on 5 ways how to lose weight quickly. And the whole idea of that is that if they're surfing and they've come into the site, we want to make sure that we capture the data so that we can annoy them until such time they buy that diet product. Video testimonials. Who has video testimonials on the website? About 30%. Okay, well, you know, those of you that don't have video testimonials, get out and get them right now. Danny, you guys do, you and Alison? Yeah. Danny owns a shed business, sells farm sheds, and he goes to these things quite a bit, so I'm sure that he's certainly well aware of what you need to do on your website. There's testimonials and testimonials. Who has good testimonials, like really good video testimonials? Yeah, Jennifer has, yeah. And again, because you've been in this environment, you would do that just with your eyes closed. But when I go onto some sites and I see the testimonial and they look like they're a rabbit, you know, in front of headlights, I would like to say that Jim's Fish Shop has the best video. That's not going to work. That's just not going to happen. When you are getting testimonials, make sure that you actually get them to paraphrase your questions. So instead of them saying, I think JD is really good as a marketing coach, that's expected. You want them to say, stuff like, oh look, JD's really, really good. I actually have been in his program for only a month and my sales have increased, blah, 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 blah. You'll notice that Proactive, who are on at midnight doing the pimple ads for the kids, every one of their testimonials, firstly, they're from celebrities, which they've ticked that box, and secondly, they are heartfelt. They're really, really powerful. And they do the shit to gold story. They basically tell you that this is what we looked like before, and the poor child, you know, the poor teenager has acne, and then I've used this cream for a month, and look, you know, before and after is just quite stunning. So when we were doing it for the Greater Building Society, we would actually go into their homes, because we found that when we brought them to an NBN studio, they froze. And I would be there with a camera crew, and the camera would be beside me, and I'd say to them, look, why did you swap to the Greater? And if they just said, oh, because we didn't like the bank, well, we could never use that on TV, and we couldn't use it on video, because no one would ever hear my voice. You don't want them to hear me coaching them. So I would say to them, and I absolutely, you know, advise you to do the same, when you say to them something like, why did you swap from the bank? Get them to paraphrase your question and the answer. So they would say, we swapped from the bank because they treated us like a number, okay? And if I said, what did you find nasty about the bank? Instead of just saying, oh, they were rude, they'd have to say, yeah, the nastiest thing we found about the banks was blah, blah, blah. So Cameron, in your business, for example, the club game, Cameron runs Orange Ex-Servicemen's Club, it's a pretty big business in Orange. If they were saying that the club is so much more enjoyable than going down to the hotel, and you said to them what makes the difference between going to a hotel for a drink and coming to the club, if they said to you, oh, because of the atmosphere and the congeniality of the staff and blah, blah, no, they've got a say in that answer, so you've got it on your video. You know what, we used to go to the hotel, but it's just not the same. It doesn't have that community spirit. And the great thing about the club is we come to blah, blah, blah. So the video testimonial will be 10 times better if you get them to paraphrase your question. Okay, event. I go on about this quite a bit. I just think this model that you're experiencing here today, how good is that? We all should be doing it. And I know a few people in the room that are doing it, you know, Jennifer and Sue, with their PCM model, which is the personality profiling. They're doing this. It's just such a great model. And essentially what you do is you invite a whole bunch of people into the room and you sell once. And if you're the industry expert, you will draw people into the room. It doesn't matter what business you're in. Michael Dempsey, where's Michael? Is Michael in the room today? Michael, yeah. Now, Michael is in the business of financial advice and I guess share trading advice, fund management, and he intends doing, don't you, Michael, on the central coast of Gosford. Have you got yours, one of the girls who's going to give you a microphone, have you got your event up yet, mate, in terms of organising the date and stuff?
Yeah, first one.
Sorry, you have to push it up, mate. Yeah. No, is there a button on it just to press up? Oh, that's that. Sorry, good.
Yeah, the first one, the second one's coming up again this month.
Now, who's your target audience and what are you inviting them to?
The target audience at the moment is our existing clients. What I'm trying to do is show them how we can protect the portfolios from the down months that occur in the market. So that's our ideal client because they've already done business with us. It's an easy sell.
Yep.
Once we exhaust all that, then we'll start inviting more public to it.
What I'd like to get at here, though, is that the copy that I put together for your invitation was, it was a bit less dry than what would normally come from a financial advisor, isn't it? Because we're trying to make it sound like an event.
Yeah.
And so, for example, Tile Rescue, the tile cleaner guy, he wanted to get new franchises because they pay him $35,000 a time. And I said, well, why don't you just go into Dubbo and Tamworth and Armidale and all those places where you can sell one franchise, and the ad on the radio would be an interview with a DJ, which we've recorded, of course, but it gets its played every hour. And instead of saying, would you like to get a Tile Rescue franchise and leave your current job? No, that would only be interesting to people that really wanted to clean tiles. So what we do, we look for opportunity seekers, and the ad comes on and the radio announcer says, look, I've got someone on the phone for me at the moment who I think all of my listeners are going to find very interesting. If you're in a job at the moment and you hate your boss and you hate your job and you want to get out and run your own business and earn up to $280,000 a year, because some of them do, then you ought to come to WRSL Thursday night at 7:30, and all you've got to go to, the website that you go on to register for this is changemylife.com. Okay, all of a sudden he's widened the funnel for anyone that hates their job to come along to one of these functions and hear about how good Tile Rescue as a franchise is. And the whole idea is widening that funnel. If he came on radio and said, do you want a Tile Rescue franchise? Well, you know he's only going to get 10% of the people there. But when people do get there that want to change their lives, chances are they're going to go, yeah, that's better than a Mr. Whitby or Michelle's Patisserie or Jim's Lawn Mowing. So in terms of the invitation that you've sent out, how many have you sent out? Or have you done that yet?
Yeah, we sent it out to all of my clients. So I'm working with my clients first, and we'll work with the other clients.
Good.
The other advisors in the office, 500 or something.
Great. And you're going to have canapes and drinks and so forth? Yep. Good. Drugs, will there be drugs there? Or?
I can get them away.
Good. Okay, good. Okay, thanks, Michael. Thank you. Okay, now this happens to be a client in Port Macquarie, and it's a bamboo furniture business and flooring business. So what they did is that they held an event, and basically it was a Friday, Saturday expo. Matt Bushell's doing the same with his tropical lifestyle business in a little while down the track. And I said to them, they wanted to run a sale, and I said, well, why don't you change it into an event? And this is what they did. So I sketched out the layout there for them. This is what it turns out like. They're the two girls that run the business. Flooring Expo at Port Macquarie, a must-do event for any home renovator. So this was a DIY audience that they were looking for. Someone that knew they had to fix the floor in their home, but they just didn't get around to it. So we're showing them in the expo how they can do it themselves, okay? Now, I said to them, look, why don't you get on radio and do an interview? So what we did is that we actually created a 60 or 90 second ad, I'm not sure what it is, but we mocked up an interview as if it was just part of the program. So when this ad came on, it didn't sound like an ad, and I'll play it to you. Here it goes.
Now here's some great news if you're planning any type of home renovation in the near future. There's a flooring expo tomorrow on Saturday in Port Macquarie at Verde Bamboo Showroom. And on the phone, got Emily Atchison.
Hi Mark. Well, with so many do-it-yourself renovators these days, we thought it would be terrific to have an expo to show people what flooring choices and how they can save big dollars doing it themselves.
Well, that's great because let's face it, the floor can make or break the ambience of a home, can't it?
Yep, a stunning floor can transform a home from bland to grand very quickly.
So there'll be floors on display for both inside and out?
Absolutely. Verde Bamboo has lots of flooring and decking options and also exquisite bamboo furniture on display. And
a host of experts there to help us as well. If you want to enhance your home, the Flooring Expo is at Verde Bamboo Showroom, 26 Central Road, Port Macquarie, tomorrow and Saturday, 9 till 5. Full details are at verdebamboo.com.au. Sounds like an absolute beauty for any home renovator. Thanks, Emily.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, so that sounds pretty much like an interview, doesn't it? So it sounds pretty much like an interview. Sorry, Gail, I can't work it. Sorry? Okay, yeah, I've got no idea what she's talking about, but anyway, you try living with it. Okay. So it comes across as an interview. It doesn't come across as an ad, okay? And that's the whole idea of it. Now, when writing headlines and copy, you've got to consider that everyone wants things done instantly now. We live in an instant world. We live in instant coffee. We even go through the drive-through now because we couldn't be bothered getting out at the restaurant. People don't buy land and build a house anymore. From the real estate agents that I've been talking to, they want the house and land package. We just live in that world. So whatever the solution is that you've got to fix somebody's ills, make sure it's as instant as it possibly can be. This happens to be a turf farm client of mine, and you'll see the front page of the leaflet that went out to the homes. Instant new lawn can mean instant increase in your home's value. And we go on within the brochure to say that US research has showed that if you put a new front lawn on your property, the value increases of your property from between 10 and 15%. And that was a research where you actually do the asterisks and we provide the source. And so all of a sudden, someone that really didn't want to get lawn thinks, geez, if that's going to increase the value of my property, well, bugger it, I'll get some lawn. This here, instant, 5 nights away at the Gold Coast. This obviously is run in Sydney and Melbourne. It's $599, but we have either a scarcity on it, there's only so many of them, or time limitation. So when you're writing copy, make sure that if you want to go down the direct response path, you put a limitation on it. You tell them there's only so many of them, or you tell them it's only available until Friday. This was the letter that went out there. You'll see the middle of the, that we had a database that we could market to, but hurry, it's a limited offer. You must reply within 5 days to get this unbelievable price. And you've got to stick with that. If they reply within 6 days, you've got to, I know it's hard to knock back the work, but you've got to stick with it, because if you don't, your integrity next time you send something out to these people will be down the toilet. Okay, die cutting. Did anybody do any die cutting with the direct mails? Yeah. Now, this is not a particularly innovative one, but again, we had the little floaty thing, and we just punched a hole in it and sent that out. The increase in response, that actually went up around about, not a huge, but it went up about 25% in terms of increase in a normal response from a DL leaflet. Just think about die cutting, it doesn't cost you that much. Again, wow factor, this happens to be a club in Sydney called Parramatta Leagues that I've looked after for a long while, and you should have seen their communications before we got involved. Very, very dry. You get this in your letterbox, or that's in the club journal, then you're pretty hard to miss it. But again, there was a time limitation, Monday to Friday throughout April, only April. Okay, if they think it's $5 all the time, well, they think, oh, there's no need to come in next week. Likewise with the big... Now, I said to them, with the hamburger, they said, is it a big hamburger? And they said, yeah, no, it's a big hamburger. I said, how big is it? They said, it's a big hamburger. And I said, well, how big? They said, it's just big. And I said, well, would it be the biggest hamburger in the world? And they went, I don't know. I said, I reckon it is. Now, unfortunately, legal and compliance stopped us from saying the world, but we got across the biggest hamburger meal in the land. But what was the takeout of that? Everyone that came in to the cafe at the Leagues Club said, I want the biggest hamburger in the world. So their mindset, because we told them it was the biggest hamburger in the world, which it probably wasn't, they thought it was the biggest hamburger in the world. So I guess the moral of that, in terms of advertising, is just lie through your teeth. Okay, another wow factor headline, and that's just wow artwork. This is interesting. These people are in the beauty business, Tribal Essence, and we put out a big letterbox brochure to the right demographic. It was here in the Gold Coast and in Brisbane, and the headline that we used for it was "Imagine a day spa experience in your own home every day." Now, of course, the brochure went through and it showed you all of the stuff. Lifted the response from the normal brochures they were putting out by around about 30%, because we gave the image in their mind that it was a day spa. This one here is an interesting one. It's in Newcastle. It was a letterbox brochure that we put out for a radio station, and that was the front of it, you can see up there, but this was the letterbox brochure. Now, what we did is that this particular guy's now doing a sport on Channel 9, but at the time he was the breakfast announcer in Newcastle. When we put that out, we basically put a number on it and forced you to listen to the radio station in the morning to hear whether your number was going to be drawn. And then the Greater Building Society actually sponsored it and gave away $50,000. That guy was number 3 in the ratings up until this, and within 2 weeks became number 1 in the ratings. Why? Because someone had an artificial device in their letterbox that forced them to listen to the radio station. We said to them, here's your lucky number. You could win $50,000 if we call a number within 1,000 of your number. So it's not even your number, but within 1,000 of your number, and we call that at 7:30 in the morning, you ring the station and you're in the $50,000 draw. So all it is that artificially pushing people to a radio station. I did the same thing for Channel 9 many years ago, where we had a TV bingo game, and we letterbox dropped the entire east coast of Australia with basically a bingo card, and you had to watch Brian Henderson's news of a weeknight, and in the ad break we would give you numbers, and you would scratch those numbers at home. Brian Henderson went from 21 to 40 within a month, and that was all artificially driven. So there was nothing new to the news, it didn't have a new backdrop. These were all artificially driven wow factors. And I'll go through in a minute with you. If you've got an organic wow factor, and Bill Gates has, then maybe you don't need artificial wow factors, because he's the only guy that makes the iPads. And if you've got an organic wow factor, like Richard Branson, because your airline is run much better than Jokestar, then you probably don't need as many artificial wow factors. You've got you've basically got an internal wow factor. But if you're in the business, like for example Wayne, where he has some big 40-ton gorilla competitors, the MYOBs of this world, then unless he's got a gazillion dollars to spend to promote what he believes is his organic wow factor, then he might need a little bit of help. And that little bit of help in his instance might be an attention-seeking device like Jaman. If you have an organic wow factor, but please concentrate on that first. As it turned out, the Greater Building Society didn't, because I could get this here, I can get that $5 note, $20 note from any bank, and they look the same, they smell the same. It's not like the Streets ice cream versus the no-name ice cream. The banks are in the business of giving you money that looks exactly the same no matter where you get it from. And likewise with your telephone delivery or your water delivery or your power delivery, those guys have to consider artificial wow factors, because it's a vanilla product. There's nothing different from one to the other. So that's why at the Greater, Jerry Seinfeld makes their product quite different. This guy here, look, I just put it up there because that happens to be a page out of the Parramatta League's bulletin. They had an Italian restaurant, they weren't promoting it like an Italian restaurant. So we tricked it up, and there's no doubt what sort of food they sell there. We did this yesterday, and I just wanted to pick someone that wasn't here yesterday because it's an experiment, a scientific experiment. Who wasn't here yesterday? You weren't here yesterday? Seriously? You weren't? Could I just do me a favour? Could you just pop up, Barbara? And I just wanted to, females apparently do this better than males anyway, but if you could just stand in the middle here, just keep your eye out around about here. It's a subliminal message, it's a wow factor. And no, it is, it's a subliminal message, seriously. See if you can just look at it, because we don't see it from a distance, but you'll probably see it up front. It's just a car ad, it's just a very soft car ad. Yeah, just a little bit closer, just if you're in the middle, if you just stand here in the middle, yeah. It'll come up on the right-hand side. You're pretty good. You're pretty good. Give her a hand, she was good. Yeah. You know, on YouTube, they've got parents doing that to their kids. They put the kids in front of it, and then the cruel parents are actually videoing the kid going, ah! Okay. Rightio, wow factor versus wow factor radio. I've got to play this to you. I've got to play. Julie, you would have seen this before, okay? This is a Sydney ad, a radio ad for the Gateway Credit Union, and they should close down tomorrow. It is just so pathetic. I'm going to play this ad to you, and then I'm going to play you one from the Greater Building Society, and you can tell me which one is woe and which one is wow. Listen to this rubbish.
At Gateway Credit Union, putting you first is the way they do business. It's about offering members friendly personal service and highly competitive rates. High interest rates on savings and term deposits, low rates on home loans, car loans and personal loans. At Gateway Credit Union, it's all about you. Exceptional service and high quality products for over 50 years. Find out more at gatewaycu.com.au. Gateway Credit Union. They'll make your money happy. This summer.
They'll make your money happy. Could I just ask everyone, you were very good with that and put your hand up and everything when he asked you to. Could I just get everybody to do just up like that? Just please, if you don't mind, everyone. Yeah. And then, and pull them out again. That is so sickening. They'll make your money happy. Look at the difference in the energy of this, or listen to the difference, I should say.
You've got to get out. There is a deep and universal human need to be not home.
You've got to go. Go to Hollywood. No patches, no competitions. Just get a $250,000 getaway homework and you can be off for 5 fabulous nights in Los Angeles flying Qantas for free.
So you just get a home loan and just automatically get 5 months in Hollywood.
Call the breaker on 1386. Terms, fees and charges apply to all loans in this condition. Apply to holidays. Call the breaker or visit the website for more information. But hurry, offer for a limited time only.
Unfortunately, the disclaimer takes up half the ad these days, but yeah, you can see the difference in the energy. I mean, that first ad, the people that put that rubbish together should be shot. Now, who wants to kiss a dolphin? Do you'll know all about this one because I think you actually highlighted it to me. Oh no, actually, no, Do you weren't here today. That little baby dolphin one that you sent to us? Yeah, we played that yesterday in terms of being a cute wow. This is an interesting story, at least I think it is. The Pet Porpoise Pool at Coffs Harbour has been a client, and they said to me, look, how do we get publicity in Sydney for people that are driving up to Queensland to call into, you know, the dolphinarium? And they're the only other dolphinarium other than SeaWorld. And I said to them, oh, well, you're very lucky then. You've spoken to me because this was last year. I said, because whatever month it was coming up that they wanted to do the publicity in Sydney, I said, it happens to be International Kiss a Dolphin Month. And the lady who's the marketing lady from the Pet Porpoise Pool said, what? I said, well, it's lucky that whatever month it was, September, is the International Kiss a Dolphin Month. She goes, no, it's not. I said, it is. She goes, well, where'd you hear that? I said, I don't know, I just made it up, but let's make it the International Kiss a Dolphin Month. And that way, when you send your proposal, which I ghostwrote, to the Sunday Telegraph and say, look, you want to give away free passes to children of anyone that buys the Sunday Telegraph. Now, no children, because what child's going to drive up to Coffs Harbour and go to the dolphinarium by themselves? Then, you know, basically they get to kiss a dolphin. Now, when we put the prop into the Sunday Telegraph and said, look, it's International Kiss a Dolphin Month, we're going to give every one of the children of your readers a chance to kiss a dolphin, do you reckon they said no? Not a chance. So I put that layout together very quickly. We sent the prop off the next day, and they ended up getting a top third of the Sunday Telegraph newspaper, all for free. So think about that stunt mentality. That was just a layout that I put together for them. Sexing up a cafe menu. This happens to be a restaurant at Sanctuary Cove. I'll just show you the menu before and after. You can see wow and wow. On the left-hand side there is what the menu used to look like, and this is when we put some pixie dust to it. That was the breakfast menu. Which one would you think would make you want to buy from there? I think the one on the right, yeah. Why do I have to answer for you? Again, lunch, again, dinner, and so on and so forth. This was his sign outside his restaurant. And do you remember this restaurant, of course, Steve Fenton's, yeah. Now, that's not in keeping with, you know, Cafe Saint-Tropez, for goodness sake, so we changed it to that. Big difference, okay? And he said to me the moment that he put this out, which was an illuminated sign, his business increased before he did even anything, okay? And of course, we told him that just like the, what was it, the story I was telling him a moment ago in terms of, you know, doing research. We did some research and we found that 100% of people thought that he was the best coffee on the Gold Coast, but he wasn't telling anyone. Research we did was that we actually asked tennis group of ladies that were standing around the street one day, you know, do you think it's the best coffee on the Gold Coast? They said yes. Well, it's a good sample size. It's been voted the best coffee on the Gold Coast. Now, in print, radio, TV and online, you know, your headline is the most important part of your ad. And what I'm going to do here is go through the headline and the copy and how you should do it, and then we're going to have a little workshop. Your table will put together a press ad and you'll put together a radio ad for one of the businesses in here, and we'll see just how good you people are. Okie dokie. Headlines, absolutely important. Okay, take these headlines here, these two. Nutrimetics, for example, we all know what that is. One headline might say, when they're looking for people to work for them, a great career path for you. The other headline would say, it's how you can make $1,500 per week simply by meeting 4 new people per month. Which one do you think might have a chance of working better? Would we vote number 2? Yep, okay. These are not headlines I suggest you use, but whenever I'm in America, I come back with about 6 months worth of these things. I just love them because I'm thinking I'm going to find out where Elvis is, but they know what it's all about. And I think that one on the top left is true. I think she has got herself. But that's the whole idea. They know how a headline can sell things. Okay, they're corny and it's rubbish, but they know for the demographic that they're chasing, that will sell magazines. And Cameron, for the Orange Ex-Servicemen's Club, I think maybe you with an alien baby on the front of something in orange, that would work. Yeah, make sure you take note of that. I noticed you weren't writing that down. Okay, the whole idea of the headline, of course, is to try and condense your message into a compelling phrase. Okay, no surprise there. So don't think that your headline has to be limited to just a few words. It can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4 sentences. Okay, John, you got to go, have you? All the best, mate. Yeah, see you later. See you, mate. Bye. All the best. Can we put our hands together for John because he's been a very good attendee. Thanks, mate. And John, when we send you the comment card, say that you enjoyed yourself, would you? Yeah, 9.5 out of 10 sounds good. Thank you. Oh, good. Okay, well, I'll go with that. Yeah, see you, mate. But remember, when you're dreaming up headlines, stick to that emotional direct response formula. Give them a problem and give them a solution. Okay, this is a classic example. Okay, for Dettol, viruses can live on surfaces for days, and that's going to freak out most parents at home. Protect your family with Dettol wipes and eliminate germs in seconds. So that's a headline with 2 sentences. You don't have to restrict your headline just to 1 sentence. These are just 10 ways to begin headlines, and if you go with these, then I have a pretty good chance you'll probably increase the response rate in your ads. Who else wants? That's a classic one, of course, you know, using social proof. Who else wants a higher paying job? Who else wants to lose 3 kilos in 3 weeks? Who else wants a drug-free pick-me-up? The secret of, everyone loves secrets. Okay, so if you can come up with a headline, the secret of protecting your assets, the secret of getting a home loan application approved, and we're all, you know, a lot of people are worried about that. The secret of eliminating acne in 5 weeks, and it's going to be proactive. Get rid of. So again, give them a problem, then get rid of it. Okay, classic formula that identifies either a painful problem or an unfulfilled desire. Get rid of that carpet stain, get rid of that lame mullet hairdo, right? Here's a quick way to solve a problem. Here's a quick way to get over a cold, a quick way to potty train your junior, a quick way to back up your hard drive. Think of ways that you can use. Here's a quick way. Number 7, now you can have something desirable, of course. You know, now you can quit your job and make even more money easy. Now you can meet sexy singles online without spending money. Now you can own a cool Mac and still run Windows. Number 8, do something like, for example, speak Spanish like a diplomat, party like Paris Hilton. So you can imagine if you actually had a nightclub and you had a headline, at our nightclub you can party like Paris Hilton. I think the image that you'd put in people's mind is that it's an upmarket nightclub, that it's not a dingy, you know, down and dirty hotel. If you're going to party like Paris Hilton, you know the sort of places that she would go to. Number 9, you know, have a something that you can be proud of. So build a body you can be proud of, have a smile you can be proud of, classic for dentists, build a blog network you can be proud of. Next one, what everybody ought to know about. Now, I found this one to be particularly good for anything to do with relationships. So if you're selling anything to do, and in fact, you know, probably Jennifer and Sue would be perfect for your business when you're selling the personality profile. You know, what everybody ought to know about their personality profiling, what everyone ought to know about adjustable rate mortgage, what everyone ought to know about writing great headlines, which is where we are. Now, just 3 hints before we give you guys a bit of a workshop to do on what type of copy to use in your advertising. Okay. Number 1, highlight the benefits, not the features. You would have heard me talking yesterday about the Panadol effect. We don't care what's in the Panadol, I just want the tablet and I want to get rid of the headache. So rather than tell them what's in it for them and what sort of, rather tell them what's in it for them and what the benefits are. Don't make your copy centred around yourself, and we all make that same mistake. Look, how good am I? Look at me, when it's all about them. The copy should be about them. Number 2, use storytelling, and that should not be a surprise from me. You've heard it from me a whole lot of time. Everyone loves a story. Now, Pat, today, you could hear a pin drop in the room when he told his story about where he came from. Who agrees with that? It was a pretty compelling story, wasn't it? I probably spoiled it a bit by introducing him on stage, saying that he did set one of the students on fire. I probably stole his thunder because he probably picked out that his story was about him before he said it. But that is a compelling story. We all love stories. These guys, I mean, absolutely, you know, Walt Disney was a great storyteller, and of course, you know, the great story, Roy, his brother, used to be the guy that went and got the money. A bit like Gail and I, really. I just go out there and do my thing. She goes and gets the money if we're ever having to talk to a bank. And Roy, whenever he wanted more money from the banks, would take Walt Disney in with him, because Roy was the accountant, brother, and Walt was who we knew he was. And they ran out of money when they were making Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. They just ran out of money. They thought they were going to make it for, let's say, 10 million, and they needed 20. So it was going to be Snow White and Three Dwarfs for a little while. And so they went into the bank in New York, and Roy rolls out Walt, and the bankers were not going to give them the money. By the time Walt did the whole sell on what the movie was all about, it was going to be revolutionary animation and blah, 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 exactly like Pat Mesiti did today, they gave him double what he wanted. And Roy always said it was because of the power of storytelling. So, you know, if you're the best lawnmower guy around, then tell the story of why you're better than your competitors. If you have the freshest fruit and veggies in town, explain the reasons why. For example, you buy only from the best farms, which have won awards for quality control. Or you get to the markets earlier than anyone else, and so therefore you get the freshest produce. So keep in mind, you are the expert. You've got to be the expert at your industry, but tell the story behind why you are the expert and why they should buy from you. If your facial cream reduces fine lines quicker than any of the others, then tell the story about how this is the case. It's a special formula from the jungles of the Amazon. But back up your story with rationale and logic. And if your guest house or hotel has the most comfortable beds around, explain the whole story about the mattresses. Who makes them? They're made out of, you know, special feathers that are flown in from Switzerland or whatever it might be. Okay, and as I said before, if you don't have that story, make shit up. You see, wow factors don't necessarily have to be free things, okay? Your wow factor can be a unique benefit from your product or service, a benefit your competitors can't match. Now, Richard Branson knows that his competitors can't match the ambience of his personality, and he milks it. This happens to be a client who basically wants to attract farmers to give him their grains, and he sells them on a particular market and then gives them more money, but he takes a commission out of it. It was quite a complex product to tell the story of. So I won't even bother trying to explain it to you now, because this was probably 2 years ago and I can't remember it myself, but this was the ad campaign that we put together, and it melted his switchboard. We put it on breakfast, morning, afternoon drive in all the country regional areas when the farmers were out in the tractors with their earpiece in listening to the radio. Have a listen to the story and you'll see why his switchboard was melted.
G'day, Jim's the name. I'm a farmer. Growing wheat for a living is hard, but getting the best price is harder. Been a real worry, particularly the last 2 years. Not anymore. I now get better prices for my grain, and someone else sells for me. Now I'm taking it easy, putting the feet up and enjoying a regular income. Here's the tip. If you grow wheat, barley or canola, listen up. There's a company called Ag Farm you need to speak to. Ag Farm. You give them your grain, they combine it with grain of similar quality and sell it for a better price. Over a set period of time, 5 to 10 months, you get a monthly payment. Means you can say goodbye to cash flow problems. Put your feet up and get a regular cash flow. Doesn't get much better. Give Ag Farm a call. Let them get you a better price for your grain. 1300 243 276. 1300 243 276. Or go to agfarm.com.au.
Now that sounds a bit different from Rugs a Million, doesn't it? You know, 72-hour sale, we're going broke, it's this weekend. It's an ad, it's clearly an ad, it's not an interview. But we just looked for a Jack Thompson voice. I think we paid a whole $190 for that guy, but he was a Jack Thompson clone. You can go to VoiceOver Studios and you say, look, I want someone who sounds like Bert Newton, but won't charge Bert Newton's rate, and they'll give you a sound-alike. And he was just telling a story. And these guys had to pull the campaign and melted the switchboard. Very, very happy campers. These guys are great storytellers, the whole lot of them. This guy got into becoming the most powerful guy in the world because he was a great storyteller. So whatever you do, tell your story. And number 3, use testimonials, and it won't come as a surprise, of course. And I say there that yes, written testimonials are nice, but really video testimonials is what it's all about. You have to have video testimonials, and of course I showed you before how you should be doing those. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to give you guys an exercise, and just have a bit of fun with this, and you get the chance to actually do a web page to see whether you've been listening to me, and you're going to get the chance to do a press advertisement, and you're going to get the chance to do a radio ad. But you're not all going to do that. We're going to pick a few tables to do the press, a few tables to do the radio, and a few tables to do the website. Now, I'll tell you, we're going to pick on someone. Who would like their business critiqued in this way? In other words, we're going to pick a business in the room and we're going to do a campaign for them. It's only going to take you 10 minutes. Who would like the business critiqued? Well, I'll tell you what, if you don't mind, what we will do, we'll go with the Danny and Alison, the shed people, and if we've got any time left over, we'll go with someone else, okay? Now, can I get the microphone to Danny, if you don't mind? Dale or Carly, is she in the room? Someone with the microphone? Okay, CD, all the best, thanks for coming. Yeah, just to Danny? Okay. Now, Danny, can you just explain your business for us, like in 3 words or less? Yeah. Green light? Just do testing 1, 2.
Now we're good. We make farm sheds for dryland farms, big sheds.
Good, thanks, mate. I'm not going on back to you, Danny. That's the excitement level of your roots.
You said 3 words.
You did, yeah. Give us a little bit more about it, yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay, we work predominantly in South Australian wheat belt, across the state basically. Our target market is the cereal farmer who has big toys, so they need to cover it.
Good, okay. Now, I'll tell you what we will do 3 businesses, okay? So that's your business, and what I'd like, not your table, okay? But table number 1 over here and table number 2, what we'd like you to do is to put a press advertisement together. So therefore, keep in mind that when you put a press together for farm sheds, okay, you're doing a full page, you've got to come up with a headline here to sell farm sheds, and they run around about $30,000 to $50,000, don't they?
That's correct.
Okay. Tell me whether or not you're going to have any photos in here. Okay, and tell me what the sub-headline is. So that's the headline. Okay, so that's the headline. And this is what they call the sub. And just give me 3 lines of copy. That's all I want, just 3 lines of copy. And okay, this is not going to be absolutely perfect because you don't know a lot about the sheds business, but you know he's looking for farmers. Your target audience are farmers. Okay, there are around about how many of them in the, online and offline you're looking for, but we're actually looking for press ads here at the moment. So let's just say you're looking for farmers in the South Australian region, and there are 5 newspapers that can reach those farmers. So I'm going to ask this table here, number 1 and number 2 and number 3, sorry.
Do you want the table to work together?
Yeah, we'll table work together. Yeah, okay, so there's just 1 drawing from the table. So Matt, who's a good drawer, will do the drawing for his table, but get input from the rest of you. And likewise David, who's a terrible drawer, he will do his table and your table. So all we want you to do is come up with a headline, a sub-headline, and basically 3 or 4 words of copy. And it's only going to be a little 5-minute, 10-minute exercise, okay? Now, the next business, we'll go with the child whisperer, the kid whisperer, okay? And could we just get the microphones? Would you change some? Yeah, thanks. And we explained this yesterday. You guys have got a head start, so you can start. But we described this yesterday. Diana, can you just give a quick rundown of the business?
We work with dyslexic and ADHD kids. We show them how they learn and how they can see.
Okay, so therefore, Diana quickly diagnoses a child who has dyslexia or learning disabilities. She diagnoses what is creating that, and she fixes that child over a series of tutoring sessions. And her target audience pretty much are probably middle white-collar management upwards because they do have to have $1.
Yeah, they're not due service around.
Yeah.
So we actually target middle management too, so it's other middle income to lower income earners.
Righto, well what I'd like you to do, and there will be this table here, so it's Julie, table behind, so therefore Michael's table, and Steve Gillespie's table. If you guys could work on that, but a website homepage, okay? Now, you know that what's important before the fold. So you're going to give away a free report. You're going to, for argument's sake, put a picture of children on the front here. You're going to put some kids here. Are you going to put a picture of Diana? She is the kid whisperer. So does she feature big on the website? What is the big headline here? She is the kidwhisperer.com.au, okay? She's the kidwhisperer.com.au. So let's do that. And these 3 tables here, we'll knock that over. And I think probably, let me see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got 4 more tables left. You guys, yeah, Glenn, can you maybe just give us a... sorry, yeah, Carly, yeah. Glenn's in the electrical business.
Yeah, just a electrical contracting company, but specialising in high-end technology, so iPads, controlling houses and lighting and audio. And yeah, it's just hard to convey that message. So we're not just a normal tradesman. So
yeah, so it's called
Power Integration. Is that right?
Power Integration. Now they are a super electrician company, okay? So therefore, basically they will turn up in uniforms, they'll turn up in a nice clean truck, and they will do all sorts of tricks for your home. For example, what sort of special effects would you do?
Oh yeah, just line control and yeah, just iPads control basically the whole house.
Yeah, so if I'm a mile away from home, I can get the air conditioning to come on with my mobile phone. Okie dokie. And your target audience are rich people, aren't they?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, people that can get all those fancy tricks in their home.
Yeah, and just trying to be the expert in that field
Yeah, good, okay. Now, a radio ad. That's all we want for these guys is a radio ad, and it's just these three tables here, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to get you guys to work on something else because you're at the table. So these three tables here, Chris's, Action Coaching, and Rose's table. We just want a 30-second radio ad. And to give you a hint of where I'm thinking of is that this is an electrical service unlike any other. This is a brand new electrical opportunity, and basically if you're a rich person and you live in Tedder Avenue and you live in the rich part of the Gold Coast, get these guys in.
We've just won some big awards, so that could be some content.
Exactly, the company's just won some big awards from the, what was it? The
Master Electricians of the Year.
The Master Electricians of the Year. Would you make that a big deal in your radio advertisement, that they've just won some big awards from the Master Electricians of the Year? And just another unique selling point, because it's a bit tough for these guys, because you're not a normal electrician.
No, it's sort of like custom living, professional.
Sorry?
Exactly. We make their life easier by making it smarter.
Okay, these guys make your life easier if you live in a nice suburb with a big house by making their electrical services smarter. So they can have your lights come on and go off at a certain time of the day to save electricity. They can have the plasma come on, they can make the kettle come on, they can be a mile away from home and make the air conditioning come on. So that's these three tables here, and you guys, if you don't mind, could you actually join with the shed people and you do the shed one? Yeah, if you don't mind, because it's silly for you to be doing your own. So therefore, guys, just to go through it again, we're after a press ad, okay, from you guys, and we're after a web page, okay, for you guys, and we're after a radio ad from you guys. Now, when you're thinking about the radio ad, think about that headline again. What's going to get my attention? Just like the pest control company, we had a woman screaming because she saw cockroaches. What's going to get my attention for electrical services? And if you can choose someone from your group to be the spokesperson when you come up and present your campaign.
Okay, so the headline is what you need to know before you blow your dough on a new shed. Okay. And then we're going to have a before and after photo straight under that, and I'm sure that Danny's probably got some great before and after photos of some really bad sheds, you know, ones where there's gaps, people haven't put it up properly and so on. So you've got a picture of that and then a picture of one of your fabulous sheds. Then down the side here you've got your photos of some great sheds that you've erected, and perhaps have a competition of what people can do with their sheds, or who has the biggest party in their shed or something. So you've got photos and testimonials down the side of people who you've done sheds for. Then get your free report, and the free report is the 7 secrets of a real shed, and the website, of course, that you go to access that free report.
Now that's interesting though. You talked about the shed being used for parties. You're saying that there could easily be some testimonial and photos of people that just used it as a party shed.
Yeah, you know, like you could have a competition like Christian did, you know, where do something wild with your shed, you know, and then have all the pictures and the testimonials, so it's bright and colourful, and there's all these sorts of
That's a great idea.
fun ideas and all that sort of thing, and then, you know, getting your free report, the 7 secrets of your real shed, or how to use your real shed.
Well, that Christian shed.
And it's the top, it says,
Thanks, Dave.
is your child having problems achieving their full potential? And lots of little children on the left, right-hand side, if you're looking at it. Underneath...
Leanne, you just have to hold a bit closer.
Oh, we've moved this bit down. So then we say, for a full and expert assessment and a plan to help your child to succeed. And underneath that we've got contact the Kid Whisperer. And then we've got the contact website, kidwhisperer.com.au, whatever it is, and a phone number. And we've got the Kid Whisperer on the side here. And our data collection for people to put in their details.
For what, for that data collection? Because there will be points coming off your team if you don't have a report that you're going to be able to tell everyone here, pressure's on, Leonie.
Right, and underneath we're just going to...
Oh, so she'll be yours. Hey Meg, I know how you feel now. Because basically what was the bubble Leonie's head was get stuffed.
And underneath we've just got some video testimonials of parents talking.
That's good. Would we have a report about anything or?
Wing it,
sorry?
Wing it.
Yeah, we will.
A report on the 5 ways to detect. Yeah, no, a free report on let's say the 5 ways to detect if your child has attention.
Well, if they had that, they wouldn't go to the kids.
It opens up with a conversation between 2 girlfriends. So there's Kylie and Susie, and Kylie saying, "Oh, you won't believe what Bruce did for me the other day. It was our wedding anniversary. It was 35 degrees. I got home. The air conditioning was on. There was beautiful romantic music playing. He closed the curtain so that it blocked out the hot sun. And then Bruce arrived home and surprised me with a week's holiday at the Versace. I just couldn't believe it. I never knew how romantic he was." And then there's the 2 bloke side of things, and Bruce is saying to Fred, mate, I got out of jail, you wouldn't believe it. My secretary reminded me half an hour from home that it was my wedding anniversary. I didn't know what to do, so I jumped on the iPad and I turned the air conditioning on because it was 40 degrees and I knew that Kylie was going to get home soon, and I put some romantic music on, I drew the curtains. And then I remembered that for buying this home automation system, I got a week's free holiday at the Versace, so I got home and I gave that to Kylie for our wedding anniversary. Gee, those home automation guys got me out of trouble, and then go to www.com.
It was an 8-minute commercial, but...
It was. But wait, there's more than our other scenarios are just 2 real estate agents, one saying this listing's going to walk out the door because it's got home automation versus the other one.
Very good.
The other one was 2 houses actually talking, and one saying, look what my owners did for me. And the other one was just 2 homeowners talking about the terrible experience with the normal tradie versus the great experience with the other tradie. So.
Very, very good. Yeah.
She gets to be the one to be pitched to because the house is the woman's place. So we decided that it would be a woman that would be doing the ad, and this is how it goes, sort of. Since my late husband electrocuted himself, I've used some of the life insurance money and contacted the nice boys in uniform from Power Integration. They have now solved all my electrical problems. Now, while I'm en route home from the day spa, I can activate my security system, lights, air conditioning, crock pot, Foxtel and garage door via my iPhone. Also, the kids can control these systems from their iPads until we're all safely inside. So, don't let your husband fry, unless you want him to. Get peace of mind and contact Power Integration on 1300 Friday now.
Hi, it's Kerry Ann here. Don't you just hate coming home to a hot house when you get back from a trip? It used to spoil my golf too. Now I can turn on my air conditioning on the way home or from my smartphone. Honestly, I've now got the smartest house on the street thanks to the brilliant award-winning team at Power Integration. Even I can manage to use their smart system to turn on the lights, the aircon, or even, God forbid, the oven, from wherever I am, whether by the pool or out to lunch. And it's increased the value of my house too. If you want the smartest house on the street, call my friend Glenn at Power Integration because only during February he's giving a free iPad with every installation. Call 999 today or visit smartesthouseonthestreet.com.
In the shed, we're trying to appeal to the emotion of the farmer, leading with the secret of how to eliminate downtime, protect your investments and beat Mother Nature, because that's the biggest danger, and you have no say in it as a farmer. We've got pretty much just laid out because farmers don't like too much technical stuff. So you can see his big shed, you can see his tractor inside the shed. We've got a farmer down here with his dog to get people involved. Like on the front end load here it says pick up your investments, so your workload there, and protect your livelihood is the.
On the right hand side there, what's the right hand side?
This is the contact us information for Facebook, Twitter, and website.
Yep.
And the current offer, which we're sort of blazing across the middle there, is you get 10 cartons of beer when you sign up with us.
Good, and that suits that target audience. And the heading is, could you just repeat that, the secret of how to?
The secret of how to eliminate downtime, protect your investments, and beat Mother Nature.
Your testimonials.
And yeah, so we've got about 4 or 5 testimonials of farmers there.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, and they're hay bales stuff.
So it's all farmy sort of artwork. Yeah. No, well done. Terrific. Well done, fellas. Yeah, very good. So your whole theme is protect your livelihood. Yeah. No, well done. Well done. So Glenn, who likes Kerry Ann, we'll give an 8 to her. But look, that's I know it was impromptu for you guys, but I guess that demonstrates the value of being in this sort of environment, whether it's mine or whether it's Pat Mercedes or whether it's any one of these other speakers. The good part about it is that you're hanging with like people, and I think Wayne, who said that he spends $30,000 a year, and travels the world to do various seminars, I think you'd probably find the benefit of it. Wayne is, it's multi-benefits, but one of the benefits is being in a room with like people who have got a creative insight into business marketing and business management, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, because it's very important to get people who are like-minded, particularly in the emotional direct response, because, as I said before, a lot of people, including the CEO measuring group I'm in, just don't get it. So it's very important to be with like-minded people that you can bounce ideas from.
And whilst this was not meant as a setup, we are launching in the next week or two a mastermind sort of group where we get together 4 times a year in an environment like this. Now, it'll be a more boutique thing because you couldn't have this sort of size. We're calling it the Imagineers Club, which if any of you guys wanted to talk to us at some stage today about it, and we get together 4 times a year. And basically we take out a big boardroom, or we take out a room probably about a third the size of this, and it's something that there will only be probably 20 or 30 people involved in. And Wayne is part of Mal Emery's one, and you've found that to be valuable over the years, haven't you, where you get together once a quarter?
Yeah, in fact it's interesting, the number of us here who've come from that group, who are the people who actually get involved in the extra activities of bouncing ideas as well. That's, we're here, that's why it's important.
Well, I hadn't been to one of Mal's before, and he asked me to be at that one, I think, back in November, and I'm in the ideas business, and I just found it exhilarating because of exactly what happened here today. I mean, these things that you guys have come up with in the space of 10 or 15 minutes are mind-boggling. I mean, I'm telling you, most advertising agencies would be spending maybe 2 weeks on this to come up with stuff sometimes half as good. And I wanted to do it straight after giving the menu of ways to write headlines and the menu of the way to write copy, so it was fresh in the mind. But without exception, every single table took away the problem solution, the Panadol thing. And when I was in Mal's one with you, Wayne, and you have about a dozen people around a big boardroom table, what happens is that because the mastermind group's all about me telling you about my business and can everybody help me fix my business, so the whole table of people in business would be helping the guy that was in the building game sell more buildings, and then it would go to the pest control company and we'd all spend 15, 20 minutes on that. And there wasn't a time limit. It's until such time that member of the mastermind group is satisfied that, bang, I think you've nailed it for me. And I found it a really dynamic environment. So I came away from that and I said to Gail and Carly, look, we've got to set one of those up. And, because the whole thing with the Institute of Wales wanky little names, we've come up with the Imagineers Club, which is something that Disney call their creative team. They call them the Imagineers. And as it turned out, we couldn't believe the URL for imagineersteam.com.au was available, the Imagineers Club, whatever. So we thought, look, we'll tell everybody that's in the group at the moment, and those that aren't, it's just a great opportunity to get together in this sort of environment with a boutique number of people and brainstorm each other's businesses. And I'm not saying you don't get that as part of my Gold Club already on a one-to-one basis, but it's nice to have it orchestrated 4 times a year where we get together for an Ideas Fest. Right, guys, well, that's about it. Thank you.
We're going to have to move quick.
Yep, okay.
And what should we do? Should we have someone handing you sheets so that they can go to the people that their companies, so that Power Integration can get the Power Integration ideas?
Yeah,
and
sure.
try to copy them or something like
Sure.
that?
Yeah, well, if everyone can just hand in the sheets at the back of the room as you leave for lunch. Yeah, just take one of those. I mean, obviously you guys already got yours, so that's fine. But hand in your sheets at the back of the room here, and we can pass them to the companies that we've done the workshop on. And can I just ask you, we're back here when, Callan? 1 o'clock? Okay, so therefore, guys, we're going to have a 3/4 of an hour lunch break, and you just follow the girls' Pied Piper style, and I'll take you around. Anyway, give yourselves a clap.